Well, hi again. It's Tina right here with my Week 7 presentation on qualitative research, prepared for MPA 560 and led by Dr. Sundstrom. As a quick reminder, again, my program is the Montana DUI Task Force program with a mission to reduce alcohol-related crashes in the county of Butte Silver Bow through community support and education. My quantitative analysis will be looking at crashes and whether or not participation in a program reduces alcohol-related crashes. And in the qualitative aspect, I really would like to look at the community support and the education portion of this program and to see the impacts that it has. As part of this week's presentation, we have been asked to look at two possible qualitative design methods. And so the first qualitative design method I would like to look at is the phenomenological research design, which focuses on the individuals and their lived experiences. So the question I would like to answer is, do educational courses provided by the DUI Task Force program reduce alcohol-related crashes? And I would like to study participants in the educational courses offered through this program by looking at surveys first answered when they complete the program, and then offering them on the survey an option to whether or not they want to continue to volunteer for in-depth interviews on the course that they have taken and whether or not they feel that or how they feel it reflected in their life. My sample will be a purposeful sample for this phenomenological research, and I'm hoping to just answer the question on whether or not, of course, the educational courses provide an impact. My second qualitative research process that I would like to look into is the ethnographic research. The question I would like to answer is, does the community culture in Butte Silver Bow have an impact on alcohol-related crashes? And the sample size will be convenience sampling. So the data collected will consist of a community observation by the researcher, and then a semi-structured interview with open-ended questions to kind of gather information on the community's relationship with alcohol consumption and, operating a vehicle and whether or not that kind of relates to anything that we're having to look at in whether the DUI task force program will be effective in this community or is effective in this community. Secondly, we were are asked to look at some problems maybe with reliability and validity in our test results in this kind of research. So one of the major problems with reliability, particularly in interviews, if you're doing these in-depth interviews, you can ask a person the same exact questions, and depending on the day or their circumstances, the results or the answers to those questions may be inconsistent. And then for validity, the validity that I chose, or the problem with validity that I chose, was theory validity. And the problem that we have with that is, does the theory that you held at the beginning of your study or data collection impair you from looking at all the data properly? So are you sure to include data that might counteract your original theory? So you kind of have to really be careful as a researcher not to make sure that the data that you're collecting in this qualitative data is not biased in any way and you're looking at everything. And finally, the institutional review board presentation and the things that I found interesting on that. So one of the major things that I found very interesting was the composition of the IRB, and that it had to have a non-scientist, somebody that wasn't connected to the institution providing the study, somebody with specific knowledge of the research, and then somebody who knows the community being studied. I thought that was pretty interesting. I also thought that it was very interesting that there was no IRB required on studies done with leftover blood samples that had been, all the identifying information had been removed because there wasn't any risk to the person providing that blood sample. They didn't have to give an extra blood sample for the study, nor is there anything identifying them. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Again, thank you all for watching. We're heading into our last week. God bless you all and good luck on your papers.